Hello, everyone. Mackie here, and welcome everyone to part two of my player rankings and coaches. If you missed part one, there's a link in the description below to tell you all the gist about these power rankings, of course, where I rank for the top and junglers. Now, if we have time, and if I have time, we might do the rest. Might. So let's get no talking anything. Let's just go further. Let's go do the mid laners and you see the them on the list. The wheel is spinning, and whichever comes first is going to be Knight. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Knight is in the floor. He has been the reason why BLG has won the LPL. Well, he's part of the reason. But when you look at stats like these, it's pretty clear to see why. I think, again, I don't have the complete stats about Knight, but see if I have it. Okay, Knight in the mid lane has a 6.5 KDA, which is second to Chovy, which is fine. 67.8%, way higher than everybody else. 36 kill share percentage, 21 deaths. None on the gold and XP, but a 9.1 CS per minute. 9.1, which is second behind Chovy, actually. Around that area beside Vikla. And yeah, third. He's third. 763 damage per minute, 26.7 damage, 22.4 gold, 0.828 wards, and 0.32 wards clear per minute. And those are the statistical part. The narrative part of that Knight is one of the most prominent, actually, no, not prominent, the most incredible mid laner we ever have in the LPL. And not only that, in the world. He's probably like the second best mid laner in Chovy at this point. I believe the way he has been playing, the way he has been skilled in most champions, the way he has making this BLG team work despite all the flaws that they have last year and now into this year, although you can say some of the flaws are kind of fixed. I think you can say that Knight is probably one of the best players we have. I think he is a clear S tier. Yes, Akeem, the first S tier is not Gen G, which is incredible, of course. So I put Knight as S tier. As for where I rank him, by the way, let me see if I do I have the rankings up. I don't have the rankings up. Let's see. Okay. As for my rankings in mid laner, I'll put him second. I'll put him a solid second behind Knight. Okay. Onwards to the next mid laner. Dyer from the Team Secret Wells team. Now I think I think we heard everybody saying Dyer is a pretty good mid laner. I think everybody in the LPL LCP community, I don't know LCP community, but I think everybody said that Dyer is a pretty good mid laner. So let's use the stats. 5.5 KDA, 69.2 kill participation, which is the highest of awards among players. 24.9 kills shot. And by the way, a little disclaimer, these are playoff numbers, not regular season numbers, so take that if you will. 20.1 deaths, 182 gold difference per 10, but a minus 171 XP per 10 minutes. Lowest than everybody else. Like, Envy has that low. My goodness. 8.6 CS per minute, 726 damage per minute, which is pretty fair. 22.5% of the damage, also good. 20.3 gold, 0.39 war per minute, and 0.23 on WCPM. So, in terms of that, you can say that Dyer has been is a good player. He's a good player. But the problem is that Knight, Chovy, even Caps are way better than you. I think all of them are really better than you. And I think Hung Q is even better than you. And Vodka. So it's like he's good in his region, but he has to get through like 2 to 3 best mid laners. And even like, by the way, he's gonna face off against Caps. Yes, he's gonna face off against Caps. Pretty much one of the best Western players ever. And then I think if he can like, make him feel like, challenging him or kind of like go 1v1, I think it'll be fine. So I will put Dyer in a solid C tier. Not the best, but not the worst in his role, of course, as many people said. Don't know much about the overall things, doesn't watch games, but I think you can say that Dyer has been pretty good. Where do I put Dyer? I think I'll put Dyer sixth. I put Dyer sixth position in the rankings. Now, let's move forward to the next one. Ooh, we got the fresh new fish in the pot. We got Saint from the Lion team. Now, Saint has been pretty good in the playoffs. I'm going to say pretty good in the playoffs. He has been pretty decent in the playoffs. 4.4 KDA, 65.8% in the kill participation, which is good. 29.4 kill share, highest among all the players. Actually, Knight is higher. I think I read off Knight's 36. Wow, man, kill share. My goodness. 23.6 deaths, 19 goal difference, and a 55 XP per 10. 9.3 CS per minute. Third among all the mid laners, of course. 605 damage per minute, 23.8% damage, which I believe is second highest behind Chovy, which is no surprise. 22.3 gold percentage, 0.38 in the war per minute, and 0.36 in the wars clear per minute. So you can say that I think Saint has been pretty good. But, and here's the but, he can be a little bit streaky. He can have some incredible performances, but also have some performances that makes you scratch your head, like he did in the playoff run. And actually, no, some of the playoff runs and some of the regular season runs. So I think the book is pretty much, or the jury, as you said, is still not out on Saint. This is, by the way, his very first international event, winning his first LCS, which is pretty good for him, of course. But to go up against Caps, and by the way, his first game will be playing against Envy, who, by the way, was the newest replacement on the Loud team, of course. I think it's going to be fine. I think Saint is going to be fine. But is he good enough to be like taking down the Chovies and, of course, the Hung Qs of the world? Not really. I think he's a solid player, but not good enough to like win. I'll give him a C tier. I'll give him a C tier for Saint. And where do I put him? I'll give him a fifth place. I'll put him in fifth in my rankings. Okay, move forward. We got five more remaining in the mid lane. I don't even need to say anything much about Caps. The greatest ever Western mid laner ever. One of two best Western players ever, besides Inspired, of course. I think he and Inspired are kind of like battling to see who's the best in the West. And I think Caps' numbers, especially in the playoffs, is incredible. 5.9 KDA, which is second behind Chovy. Actually, third behind Knight and Chovy, but probably best in the West by among all players, of course. 65% kill participation, 25.1 kill share, second most, 19.8 deaths, 98 goal difference at 10, which is second highest, 121 goal difference, which is highest among all players, which, by the way, did not do the LPL stats, 9.1 CS per minute, 623 on damage per minute. That is what, fifth, top five in damage per minute. Amazing. 21.4 its damage percentage, which is, I think, is pretty much in the top five, or actually lowest. Yeah, it's the lowest he ever have in terms of damage. 21.5% on gold, which is pretty much high. 0.39 war per minute and 0.22 wars clear per minute. But in terms of narrative, and I think the narrative is important, Caps is the most clutch player in all of the West. He has been known to play decently well internationally. We know what he's capable of, especially in that incredible series against Common Corp and especially that game 5 against Anivia. Without Caps, to be honest, I think G2 would have lost this series. Plain and simple, without Caps, G2 would have lost the series against Common Corp. And the way he had been performing in these playoffs, especially against Common Corp the first time when he actually popped off, it's going to make G2 carry it a long way into victory. Now, is he good enough to beat the Chovies and the Knights of the world? I think he can do it. I think we all know how he can do it. But this is not the dominant Caps we've seen in 2018. And that's fine. A Caps that has been like 75% good can still make G2 pretty good and pretty decent. So for me, I put him in A tier. I think he's an A tier kind of mid laner, which is pretty good in my opinion. For some of the Western fans, of course. And to where I put him in the rankings, I believe he's fourth on the list. I think I'll put him in top four. You know what? Let's just make Caps a top four player. I think he's good enough. I think he's good enough, narrative wise and community wise, to be a top four player. I think if he performed well in this first stand, And if let's just see if he beats the Team Secret Wells, let's just say he beats Team Secret Wells and face off against a Knight. Let's say he faces Knight and performs decently against Knight. Then that pretty much justifies the A ranking pretty well. But he's not like top tier like he was before. But A ranking for one of the best mid laners in the West, I think is justified. All right, four more remaining. Yes, I'm looking at my phone, trying to see my notifications or something. So let's see, pops up. It's Hung Q, by the way, for JDG. Okay, and by the way, I think the timing cannot be perfect. By the way, Secondary Poro just dropped a video talking about G2. I just finished speaking about caps and G2, and then Secondary Poro just dropped the whole thing about G2. So maybe I'll probably watch it and see if my opinion is fine. But I think he's pretty much of the same opinion. Caps has been better, but I think there are some flaws in Caps' game that needs to be fixed. That doesn't mean he's bad, but that doesn't mean he's brilliant Caps. He could still be clutch Caps, of course, in most cases. Kind of like Faker, of course. Hongkyu, by the way, speaking of that, he is the mid laner for JDG. And based on his numbers, 3.2 KDA, not great. 63.1 kill participation, not great. 20.2 kill shares, second lowest, not great. That's percentage okay-ish. And look at the CS per minute, which is 8.8, which is okay. 609 damage per minute, which is second lowest besides Saint. 24.1 compared to like the rest, it's a high damage. 21 gold percentage, 0.66 wards per minute. At least he put in all the wards, of course. He's putting out wards and cleared at 0.21 a rate. So this is Honkyu's, in case many people do not know, this is Honkyu's third straight tournament. Actually, fourth. He has gone to first stand. Last year he was on CFO, by the way, in that semifinal run in first stand. He went to MSI. He went to Worlds. He has been brilliant. And of course, and now he's going to be playing for a much bigger team with a much decorated coach in Tabe. And we have seen Hongkyu have popped off, of course, but consider the fact that this is his very first time playing for a team that has higher expectations than what he has have in CFO. That might get to him. That might really get to him. Now, I think he's still one of the best mid laners we ever have. I think he and Junji are like the 1-2 punch in the mid and jungle scene. And let's be honest, jungle and mid is going to be a difference in this first stand tournament. With the way, the patch being worked out. And by the way, tomorrow is going to be our champion meta and all kind of stuff. So stay tuned for that. But I believe that is one of the best players we ever have. We saw it last year. We saw it on his run with JDG. He is brilliant, and I will put him as A tier in my list of decent mid laners, of course, of good mid laners. And for my rankings, I will put Hongkyu as number 3. I put Hongkyu as number 3. Oh boy, Jesus, that means Vikla and Envy. Jeez, that's be tough. Gotta be tough. All right, 3 more. Yeah. Listen, I am not doing this to speak loud, okay? But let's remind everybody that Envy came here on a team that is like, okay, how do I say this? Let me just look at the stats first. He has been playing, of course, with this team. 3.6 KDA, lower than anybody yet. Lower, second lowest to Kong Q. 51.3 kill participation, pretty low. 17.7 kills shares, pretty low. Most of his stats are pretty low. In deaths, in goal difference in 10, XP in 10, second lowest to Dyer. 8.3 CS per minute, which is low. 616, which is a little high. He put up damage, of course. He's doing a 22.7 damage, which is fine. Actually fine. 19.3 gold per minute, that's low. 0.47 and 0.13. Now, you're asking yourself, Akeem, this is laughable. But the reason why this is laughable is because the former mid laner for Lao, you know, got kicked off the team for disciplinary issues, of course. He didn't even talk to his psychiatrist, which is a horrible thing. And they bring in Envy, and he has these 1, prove it or lose his series. Of course, if he wins, if he wins CB Law, great, he'll keep on the team. If he loses, that's fine. We can cut him, of course. And to be fair, this was more of Red Cannon's choking than rather Loud winning. Which I'm not disrespecting Loud winning the whole thing, but Envy's kind of like the passenger in this whole thing. And unfortunately for him, I think this is pretty much like he's okay, but never great. And unfortunately, he's going to get clapped by your Cavs and your Saints of the world. Even Saint, by the way, even though he doesn't have international experience, I think Saint is still a better for him. So unfortunately, consider that this is like a late addition to him and the circumstances dealing with it. And it hurts, it sucks, but I think you're on the D tier, and unfortunately, you're the last player on that team, which means we're down to two people, Vikla or Chovy. I think we all know who am I going to pick, and we'll give the wheel one more spin, and then we go from here. Okay, Chovy is in. I don't think we need to do anything much in the rankings. He's number one for me, number one top player in the mid, S tier for Genji, and the numbers are pretty much back it up. 7.1 KDA, 60.8 kill participation, 22.7 kill shared, 158 goal difference at 10, 169 XP per 10, and then 9.9 CS per minute. 9.9 CS per minute. This guy has done an almost 10 CS a clip. We all know he's good in CS, but my lord, that's disgusting. Almost 800 damage, which is more. 23.9% of the damage. Wow. 21.7 on the gold, 0.51 wards, and 0.33 war CS per minute. Do I have to say more? Actually, wards clear per minute. Do I need to say less? This guy is pretty much the best mid laner we have in the last 3 years. Of course, this tournament does not mean anything for Genji other than the worlds of the be all and end all. But consider that this is a team that is going to win first stand by a country mile. He has to perform well. And yes, I get Keen and Canyon and Doro and and Ruler is going to perform well, and that's fine. But Trophy needs to have that one or two pop up game to like elevate his status even more. His status is already elevated, of course, but if he performs well in this tournament, there's no doubt he's the best mid laner ever. So that means poor old Vikla. Where do I put him in Vikla? I think I'll put him Vikla. I think I'll put him Vikla in the B tier. I think Vikla is fine. He's a fine player. I don't think he's the seventh worst player. I'm sorry, but he's not the seventh worst player. And I think it's gonna be hard to kick our Caps out. So you know what? I'm gonna go Dyer, Saint, and then Claire, and actually Vika. Yeah, because I think Vikla, I don't know if he can overcome a Caps. I just don't know if he's overcoming Caps for that fourth, fifth position. And I think Honkyu, he's a known quantity. We know him from courts, and he performed decently well. So that's pretty much it. So I think Vikla is like the litter of the rot. And if you look at his stats, he was not performing well in KDA. He's got kill participation, which is good. And he's decently well in goal difference, and CS per minute was good. He's good. He's good. But in terms of my rankings, of course, is he good enough to be the Caps? Is he good enough to be the Hong Q? Is he good enough to be a Knight and Chovy? Chovy is just way up there. Knight is way up there. But it's Hong Q, Caps, and Vikla. The 3 to 5 is going to be a really head scratcher. It's a really toss up. You can put Caps as 3 if you want to. You can put, Vikla in 3 if you want to. But these are my rankings, and I'll stick to it. And I can say that Vikla is the fifth best player. But if he performs well in this tournament, and I think everybody is in Fear X, besides Fear X fans, are kind of like, they're not have a chance. But if Vikla could pop off in this tournament, then that will make my rankings a little silly. Okay, that concludes the mid lane, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'm going to watch the Psychiatric Poro's guide into G2, and then, of course, I will rearrange all of these things, and we'll focus on bot next. Okay, so I just watched Psychiatric Poro's, knowledge about G2 in first stand, and I think he has some good points, of course. If the player of Hansam and Labrov come up, I don't think we need to do anything, but I will add my 2 cents about them. So we'll continue with bot lane, by the way. Whew, whew. Mr. Viper. Mr. Viper. All the way from BLG. Now, how did Viper do, by the way? How did Viper do? 7.8 in terms of KDA, highest among all the bot laners. 59.2 kill participation, lowest among them. 23.2 kill shares, not good, especially for an ADC. 15.2 deaths, 10.1 CS per minute, 681 in terms of damage, which is lower. I mean, one lower than Gala, for God's sakes. 24% damage, 25.7 gold, 0.57 wars per minute, and 0.34. Jesus, Rise Viper, you're just not good. I expected better from you. I literally expected better from you. This is, I mean, when I heard Viper's name, I was thinking, oh, dominate ADC, gonna dominate the LPL. And yes, while BLG won, I don't think he was the reason for it. I think he has been having some okay, solid games, but never elevated to like grandeur standards. And it's tough. He has to perform in first stand. He has to perform incredibly well because when you got Ruler, Diable, okay, Gala in your mix, this is going to be a tough one for him. It's going to be a tough one to even crack to the top three of them. So I'm going to be brutally honest and give him the B tier of the ADCs. And I will rank him in terms of the bot lanes. I think I'll rank him the fourth best bot lane. I think I'll rank him the fourth best bot lane, of course, in the list. Now we move forward to the next one. Hmm. Speaking of hype ADCs, Mr. Diable from the FearX team. He has been solid. Okay, save for the two times the Genji wipe him, but he has been brilliant. Everything we expected from the player and more. Oh, wow. The numbers actually were shocking. Actually, he's at a low KDA, 3.5 KDA. Second lowest to Bull, 66.9% kill participation. So high, all right. 32.4 kill share percentage, 180 gold per minute, 146 CS, which is lower, pretty low, fourth lowest. 19.9 deaths, 10.2 CS per minute, 825 on the damage. High, of course, for ADCs, but third highest among ADCs behind Ruler and Eddie, which is actually good. 27.1% on the damage percentage, which is third lowest among, actually fourth lowest. Fourth lowest among all the players. 28.5% gold, 0.49 in wards per minute, and 0.37 on wards clear per minute. Diablo has been pretty much the most hype player on this team, the most hype player in all of LCK. And he has delivered. He has, well, not delivered as much in terms of KDAs, but he has delivered in terms of like making the FearX team better. And yes, he and Vikla are the reasons why FearX are in this position. But the question is he going to be the main man for the team? Because this is his first international tournament, of course. I believe that there are some players who have been to international tournaments, but this is his very first international tournament for Diable. And consider all the hype, all the focus will be on him, especially for a team that is, let's be honest, the fourth worst team in all the Eastern teams, of course, in terms of coaching and all the hype. It's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough for him. And I think he's a solid player. I think everybody's speaking highly of him. He's not superstar, but I'll give him the A tier. I'll give him the super rare A tier for the AD carries. Actually, no super rare team. He's an A tier. He's an A tier for me, and I will rank him as a top three AD carry. So he's gonna be ahead of Viper in my top three. All right, all right. Let's move on to the next one. Hmm. Okay. Yeah. I don't think I need to speak anything much. I will add my 2 cents. So Sakura Report that I just watched the Sakura Report video on G2 and Hansama specifically. I will put him in C tier. I think he's a solid. I think he was solid, but never the guy. Never the guy to dominate the game. Cops, we all know he can carry the game. You can see Broken Blade carry the game as well. Skumon did well, and Hansama is just not there. He's fine. He's good, but he's just not there. And if Hans Selma having like a plateau performance, of course, in first stand, If G2 were to win with a plateau on summer performance, that's good. That's fine. But if, and this is a pretty much a big if Caps gets shut down, who will carry this team? Like, be honest to God. If Caps get shut down, who will be carry the team? You have to say Sama has to carry the team, but I don't think Sama has to ever have a big game that makes you feel like, wow, he's the best ADC we ever seen in LEC. He hasn't done that. He hasn't done that at all, which is a blessing for them because he doesn't have to do anything, but a curse for them because he needs to do something. And I think this first stand has to be the show me the money, as Jerry Maguire said, moment. 6.1 KDA in the playoffs, 60 in kill participation, which is low, by the way, lowest among second lowest beside Viper. 28.5 kills shared, 17.76 deaths, 61 in goal difference, 10, 260 in terms of XPD, which is higher by everybody else, but not saying the LPL players. 10.1 CS per minute, which is solid. 656 damage per minute, which is good. 25.9% damage. 27.3 gold per minute. 0.42 wards. 0.39 wards cleared. He's a meh to me. He's always been a meh. And I think he's solid. He's fine. He's solid, but never otherworldly, of course. Where do I rank him? I think he's in the fifth place. He's not great, but he's not as bad as many other players. Okay, let's go to the next one. So I got the Han Salmon thing out, and now we get to see the next player. Come on, come on, come on. Mr. Eddie. Mr. Eddie, ladies and gentlemen, from the Team Secret Wales team. Eddie has been pretty good. I think Eddie has been pretty good in most LCP standards. 5.7 in terms of KDA, which is fourth around top five. 67.1 kill participation, 32.1 kills shared, 238 goal difference at 10, which is second most, of course, in terms of data I have. 87 XPD, which is the lowest by Ruler, but I don't think Ruler cares about like XPDs and something. 10.3 CS per minute, 896 damage per minute, the highest among 80 carries. Better than Ruler, better than Diable. Like, wow. He did it at a 27.9% damage per minute, which is third beside Bull and Berserker. 28.9% gold, which is pretty high, of course. Same around Berserker and Diablo's range. 4.46 wards per minute and 0.33 wards clear. So you look at Eddie, and he's a fine, solid player. He's a fine player. But of course, just the same thing I tell about Team Secret Wales, is he going to make this team better? Now, of course, he got a big litmus test against G2, of course, to show me what he got. And if you get a brilliant game, of course, against Caps, against G2, that will make a world of difference. And this is not Eddie's first rodeo, by the way. He did make it to Worlds, and I think his performance at Worlds is just not so great. But I think he's improving. I think the team improved, and I think he's a pretty good ADC you have to look out for. I think Eddie's going to be a B tier, list. I will sadly put him in sixth, but I think you could say that Eddie's going to be better than some of the best ball laners we have if he performed decently well. If he performed great, by the way. Four more to go in the ball lane, of course. Then we got support. Then we got our coaches, and that is it. And look who he is, the king of the empire, Ruler. This is a no-brainer in terms of ranking him. Or is it? 6.3 KDA, 65.7 kill participation, 31.6 kills shared, 20.8 deaths, 83 goal difference, 57 XPD, 10.5 CS per minute, 880 damage, which is second, 26.5 damage per minute, 27.6 goal percentage, 0.45 war per minute, and 0.42 wards clear. So Ruler, he has been good. We all know he's good, but he's not the reason why the team won, and everybody knows the reason why the team won is those three and probably the support. Which means I think Ruler is probably the weak spot in his team. And he has to step up, don't worry. He needs to step up because Chovy, Canyon, and King cannot have great games in all, or otherwise that the team is done. It has to be on Ruler. We know that he's good. They've been paying the big bucks to have him for moments like these. And we know he hasn't been great on Worlds, but he's been decent in the LCK Cup, and now this is his chance to shine. Now, unfortunately for him, I do not put him in the S tier. Unfortunately, that's the end of the Genji S tier streaks. He's going to be an A tier, which is fine. He's a fine player. He's a good player. But I just want some more from him. I mean, I get ADC is the hardest role to play with, of course. But I want more for him. I just want more from him. As for him, I'll still put him number one. I'll still put him number one despite the A tier list. He's still the number one best bot laner we ever seen coming out of all the players on the team. So we got Bull, Berserker, and Gala. Three more remaining, and then we'll see where it goes. And by the way, we make it around 31 minutes. This is incredible. Better than last time when I yap a lot, of course. Now for Berserker, the 80 carry for Lion, and he has been solid in the playoffs. He's been pretty good in the playoffs. 6.8 in KDA, 63.3% in kill participation, 31.6 kills shared, 303 goal difference at 10, which is the most, 173 CS per minute, third most, 10.8 CS per minute, which is the highest among all of them, 786 damage per minute, which is fourth, which is not bad, 30.9% damage. Whew. I mean, I get it's against LCS teams, but still, 28.8% gold, 0.42 ward per minute, and zero point 0.3 ward clear per minute, which is little low, man. You need to clear some wards, man. You don't want to see get flanked by some junglers, of course. So, what do I think about Berserker? So, I think besides the secondary, I think secondary power puts his best. When he got bought in my Cloud9, he was the best player among Cloud9, and he was great. Then he moved, unfortunately, to DN Freaks, and he was probably the best of the worst bunch, of course, on that DN Freaks. And now he comes to Lion, and he's kind of like mid, you know, solid enough, but not great enough, to say that he's one of the best ADCs, especially when you have Ruler or Diable and probably Gala in the mix. It's tough. And even Viper, who, yes, he may not be great, but Viper can still pop off in the tournament. So I think Berserker's a C tier for me. I think Berserker's a C tier for me. A C tier performance in the playoffs. And I think he's fine. He's a decent player, but not like highly doubted as one of the best players. As for where I put him, I think I'll put him in seventh place. I think I put him in seventh. It hurts, but Eddie and Hansama put up decent numbers, man. And even though Hansama is wait, hold up. I think wait. Berserker seventh. Am I gonna put Berserker on top of sixth? I mean, he's fine in the playoffs, but he's not been otherworldly, especially in the regular season. You know what? If the LCS fans will hurt me in the comments section, I will be fine. I'll be fine. I'm old enough to get hurt. So I'll put Berserker above Eddie. You don't like that? Take it with a comment section, I guess. All right. Two more to go. Gala versus Bull. Who will win? Okay. So it's Bull from Loud, by the way. And I think Bull has put some bullish numbers, to be the pun, of course. 3.4 KDA, a nice 69.9%, highest among all the players coming into the tournament. 33.1% kill share. But his goal difference at 10 is putrid. 234 CS per minute, which is second behind Hansama. But CS per minute, 9.8. 9.8. Which, if you can crack like 10s, of course 11s, that's good in terms of ADCs, but 9.8 is just not good enough. 753 DPM, which is solid, middle, 28.8 damage per minute percentage, 27.89% gold, 40.41 ward per minute, and 0.25 wards clear per minute. Bull has been good. I think I like Bull. I think Bull is a pretty good player on this good Loud team. The problem is that you're facing Ruler, Diablo, and by the way, you're facing Berserker in the first game. So this is a proof, the prove to me moment that you can be a pretty good player and taking down one of the solid best players in all of the LCS. And consider that we had the America's Cup and we see like CBLO clapping the hell of an LCS. I think this is gonna like give him more fuel to say that if they can do it, why can I be doing it? And he can put up some decent numbers. He could be credible, and I just want Bull to show me something. Just open my eyes. Yes, I don't watch CBLOL as much. I don't watch any of your content. That is on me. That's on everybody else. But I think I know you're a good player. I will put you in C tier, and unfortunately, I will have to put you in the 8th spot. But if you can perform well, then we'll have to consider. And that means Mr. Gala is going to be the number 2 best player on my bot lane rankings. And I believe the stats are pretty much here. 4.2 KDA, not great, but not bad either. 69.1% kill participation, which is second. 34.3 kills shared, most among all of them. Yep. 10.3 CS per minute, around second place at that time. 682 damage per minute, which is lower. In fact, second lowest, of course. 26.6 damage percentage, which is a little bit fine, but not as high as many of the players. 27.6 gold, of course, 0.35 wards per minute, and zero point 0.4 cleared. So you can say that, Gala has been pretty good. We know Gala is pretty good. He's the Prince of Pentacles, for God's sakes. Of course, he's not the reason why they won. It's pretty much the Hongqiu and Junjia double. And the question is Gala fall off? If Gala fall off, I know, no, Gala is still one of the best ADCs we ever seen in the LPL. He's still one of the best ADCs in the world, and I will, until that happens, until he fall off, I will give him the benefit of the doubt. I said he's still a solid A tier ADC on that team. I think he's the second best bot carry we have, and that is it for the bot lane. So we are down to one more role quest or role left, and that is support. And I will do all my jigsaw fixing and all kinds of stuff and come back to you in a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, we are 37 minutes in this video and we have finally reached the support. So thank God for actually not wasting all the time and all kinds of stuff. So without further ado, let's just rank the supports and see where we go. And then after that, the coaches. Because I feel like the coaches will deserve some love, of course. First off, it's Vampire from JDG. So if you look at Vampire throughout the entire course of the playoffs and overall in terms of narrative, 5.3 KDA. Remember, supports does not get like big stats, of course. So take it with a grain of salt. But if you go by it, 83.7 kill participation. What? 80? What? I swear. Listen, these have come from Oracle Elixir, by the way, and I thought it was a typo, but 83.7% kill participation just dwarfs everybody. If you have a support that has like 84% kill participation, that is like a pretty brutal support, and a support that can just roam in the mid lane, help out the jungler, of course, help out like the support. It's amazing. It's amazing numbers. Kill share 3.9, not as much. 17.1 deaths, not as much. CS no damage. He got 8.4 damage per minute, which is like second behind Labrov. That's fine. 10.8 gold, 1.97 wards per minute. And wards are huge, guys. Wards are huge, of course. That's why this is the most important stat for the sports. But point five wards cleared, which is tied second. Only Ruby has the best ward clear percentage. So you think Vampire is a pretty good support? He is a pretty good support. Now, is he world class support? I think no, but he might get there. I think he's been a solid support on a really solid team like JDG, and I'm not sure he's the best in the world, but I believe that he is a pretty good support who can be like the biggest focus on like helping Gala, helping Hongqiu, helping Junjia, of course, in that game to make the team push. And when you have like an 83.7% in kill participations, that's going to make like, wow, he is that good a support. So not an S tier support, but a pretty solid A tier support, of course, for that team. And where do I put him in the rankings? I will put him number 2 on my support. Yeah, number 2. Yeah, number 2 on my supports. Now, next. So close to the bluff. So close to the bluff. But it's Redbird, the veteran leader on the loud team. We look at the stats: 2.3 KDA, again, supports, not as much. 73.7 kill participation, which is solid, of course, for support players, which is fine. If you have like 70 to 75% range, that's like a solid performance for support. Kill share 3.8, 28.2 deaths, minus 147 gold. Again, supports. 208.2 damage, which is not bad. 9.8 gold, 1.88 wards per minute. 1.88 wards per minute. It's the, I think, second lowest beside Labrov in terms of wards placed. And you got 0.43 in terms of ward cleared, which is lowest. So I look at Redbird and I feel like, okay, he's good, but he's just not as good as the rest of the players. I think he's a solid mid player to me, of course. I think consider that Young Jay and Bull are pretty much solid players. I think he's a solid player as well. I'm not doing this to disrespect the CB lol. I'm just saying Redbird is an incredible veteran, and I think you need veterancy in this team, especially you have a young, fresh team with a mid laner that was like not supposed to be here, but got like loaned in, and a newish support, of course, and he got a pretty not okay-ish jungler, of course, who had been there before, and a fresh new top laner. So with his veterancy and all the kind of stuff, Redbird got it in spades. But in terms of the playing style, and in terms of like trying to become the best support in all the world, in terms of all the teams remaining, he's a C. He's a C, and that's fine for me. And I'll put him in seventh. Okay, cool. Now then, we move forward with the next one. Six remaining, Akeem. Six remaining. Five. Yep. Five from Team Secret Wells. Five from Team Secret Wells. So, numbers wise, he has a 5.8 KDA, 73.8 kill participation, 3 kill shares, 20.1 deaths. Not so great in the stats department. Two, so 7.3 damage, which is not bad. 10.4 gold, not bad, of course, probably like the fourth lowest. And 2.08 wards per minute. 2.08 wards per minute. It's just second behind Kellen. That's not bad. And also the second highest in terms of wards clear per minute, besides on. So he's a pretty decent support player. He's a pretty good support player in everybody else's opinion. I think the problem with Bai is that I think he could be a little bit so indie in most cases, of course. That's just not me. That's basically the community speaking to me. And I think Bai has to prove himself, especially when you have a solid, you know, ball laner in Eddie. I think he needs to prove himself. So I think, you know what, C tier is fine. I think C tier for Bai is fine. And where do I put him? I think I put him sixth. I put him sixth for now. All right, can we? I listen. No disrespect for the other regions, but at least we get some ball lanes that I know of. So at least we get some clearer picture. Okay, Mr. Isles. Now, Isles have been pretty good. Isles have been pretty good in the playoffs, of course. I mean, the Poppy game, he's look at his numbers. His numbers is fine. He's got a 2.01 ward per minute and 0.44, 9.8 gold percentage, which is second, which is, by the way, support numbers, by the way. 5.7 in kill participation, 71.2 kill, 5.7 KDA, 71.2 kill participation. He is good. I mean, other than the Poppy game, he has been the passenger of the Dokkan inspired show, to say the least. So I don't think Isles have like the best things that happen in line, which is okay. He's solid, not good enough to win, but I think he's probably like the most solid player we ever seen. So for now, I think I'll put him in this tier, the C tier, and I'll put him in fifth. I put him in the fifth of the supports. Now then, four more to go. And if we have time permitted, we have the coaches, of course. Whoa, on by the slimmest of margins. So on, he's a pretty good support. We all know he's a pretty good support. Pretty good support on a winning team like BLG. 5.1 KDA, lowest kill participation. Like Jesus, 62.6, not good. 5.2 kill shared. 7.8 damage percentage on 217 damage per minute. 10.6 in goals, which is fine, pretty good. Third most. 2.10 wards, which is same as Isles. And 0.55 in wards clear per minute, which is the most. So this guy can put some decent damage per minute, put some support in rolls, of course. And I think you could say he and Viper are kind of like the two most dynamic bot laners ever. I think if you look at bot lane and support, I mean, just feel like night and day. You know, Ruler Duro is fine. On and Viper is good. Gala and Viper are good. Where do I put On in this? I think On is a solid player. I think On is a solid player. I think On is a solid player beside Viper. We know what he's doing in the LPL playoffs. He's been solid. Again, my knowledge in these things are not great, but On is good. On is good. I think he's back to like 2025 on. Actually, no, 2024 on. He's back to 2024 on, which is good, which is actually good. He'll be third in my rankings, and we have to go quickly. We have three more players left, and then I don't need to do the wheel. I have to do the coaches and where I rank them. Okay. So, next up is Duro, the Gen G support. I think he's been Doro's support based on the numbers 6.2 KDA, 75.6% in the kill participation, not bad. Um, Ward per minute 1.92, which is a low. Second lowest behind Redbirds. Oh, God, dude. Put your wards in, for God's sake. But he did put it in a 0.48 ward per minute, which is cleared per minute, which is solid, of course. And put 7.9 damage, which is not bad. 262, which is also not bad. Listen. Doro's the best support we ever have in Gen G. I think he and Ruler is going to be the most impactful bot ever. I think he and Chofi is going to be the most impact support mid laner ever. I think he and Canyon are about to be the best support jungle we ever seen. I think Doro's that kind of guy. Now, is he? Listen. I've already put Ruler in A tier. I'm not sure you can put like Doro in the same S tier as everybody else. Like I'm gonna have to calm down in Gen G. Not as hard, but I think this is what happens when you have a good team. You got three solid players and then like not so okay players, good players, of course. It's the same thing I put in Doro. I think Doro is a good player on a good team, and I think he'll be on the A tier, and he's still number one for me. He's still number one in support, which makes all five Gen G players number one in all their roles, which is great. Which is great. All right, two more to go. Two more to go, ladies and gentlemen. Phew, Labrov. Okay, so I think based on secondary Poros impressions on Labrov, I think he's a fine player. He's the opposite of Hans Sama. He's been putting up decent performances, especially that Caps crazy Anivia game with the Nico game, of course, as I mentioned. He put some solid performances, especially in the playoffs. 55.3 KDA, 72.3 kill participation, 6.8 kills shared, which is the highest among all players. That's pretty good. Same thing in gold and difference, 64. That's the same numbers, of course, from gold, difference, and XP. That's crazy. 10 in terms of damage per minute, highest among all of them. 10.8 in terms of gold, which is high. 1.74 wards per minute, lowest. My head is hurting because somebody's not playing wards as much. Ow. But he got a point 0.5 ward clear per minute, which is actually fine, which is actually good, of course. So where do I put Labrov in this? I already put Labrov in B tier. He's fine. I think the bot, you know, the bot is like the least of G2's problems, of course. Actually, he's probably like the most problematic of G2 of all of them. And I think Labrov is fine. Now, I do not think. I think. Am I going to put Labrov in 8? Actually, no. Let me just change my rankings. So, Redbird is going to be 8. Yep. I think Redbird is 8. I think Bai is 7th for me. And I think Labrov is the 6th best player. Actually, no. I think Labrov is better than Niles. I think Labrov is better than Niles. So, guys, I think Labrov is better than Niles. I think Labrov is better than Niles. And I'll put him in 6th. Okay, that means Kellen is the last one. And Kellen will be the 4th best player. He's also good with Diable. And I put him in the A tier. I put him in A tier beside Diable because he and Diable are like the two most dynamic ball liners ever. I think they can go to work. I think they're solid. I think they'll be doing well at this international event. I know they're first timers ever, but I think when they work together and they played well, I think they did well. I think Kellen 4.2 KDA's not as strong. Set, but he got a 75.4 kill participation, 6.1 kill shares, goal to 8.1 damage per minute, which is third. In terms of wards, 2.11 wards per minute, which is good on the ward front. 4.45 wards cleared. So he can clear wards, he can place them. That'll be important for him. And I think the communication between Kellen and, of course, Kvikla will be huge, especially with him and Diablo. I think he can play some pretty good champions, of course. And by the way, I'll get to the champion meta, of course, tomorrow in a couple of hours, actually, by the time I finish recording. And by the time this thing will upload, it'll be like already Wednesday. But I think, Keller's pretty much solid. So we have to decide to retire the wheel. So thank you, Wheel, for everything. But I think the rest of them is going to be me only. So we're going to go to each and every coaches and rank them and then place them. Okay, so Ryu first. We all know Ryu from the famous Faker Ryu Z play. But now he's a coach of this team and he's now a champion, which is great for this secondary mantle. He's probably the best coach on the best team ever. I don't think we need to do anything. He's like the number one best coach ever. And then we got Edo, of course, of Fearex. He's a solid coach, I think, in my opinion. Pretty much one of the best coaches on the best team. He's a B tier for me. He's a B tier. Where do I put him? I think he's third. I think he's third on my tier list. Warhorse, former world champion with FPX 7 years ago. I mean, can you believe it's 7 years ago? I'm feeling old right now. I'm going to be 29 this year. My goodness. I think Warhorse is solid. I think Warhorse is solid. He's a solid player, of course. I'd give him a B tier. I give him a B tier, and I give him the fifth best coaching, of course. Rays from Loud. I don't know much about him. Sorry, dude. No offense, but you're gonna be in the D tier. No offense to you. He's a Korean coach, by the way, and I'm not sure if his coaching can help this team elevate, but he needs a raise the ceiling. Pun intended. Dylan Falco, we know how about his creativity. We know about his coaching, of course, making it work for G2. He's got the creative brain and all kinds of stuff, and I think he will help this team do well. He's a solid A-tier coach, one of the best in the West to ever do it, and I think he is like the fourth best coach of the whole bunch. Now, Rainover, of course, from the G2. We all know Rainover. He's a pretty much veteran coach. Make the team work, make all the drafting, all the work. Pretty much like help Inspired and Dokla. I think he's probably like the reason why Dokla had to play those three incredible champs. But I think Rainover is a solid coach. I think it's a solid coach. Now can he help this team? Not much, but I think he's a C tier coach for a C tier team. No offense. And I think I put Rainover as the second best, the sixth best coach on the team. And then Danny, I think Danny is pretty much good. I think Danny is pretty much the best, coach we ever have. I think he made that BLG team work. I think he's the reason why BLG has won. It's probably mostly night, but I think Danny's coaching has been good. I think we all know Danny is a solid player. I put him as the A tier in terms of coaching. Let me just come on, highlight Akeem, highlights, and there you go. Okay. And then, of course, Danny is going to be. Oh, Jesus. I might disrespected him. Yeah, I might disrespect Danny because I know who's going to be my number two. I know Tom is my number two. But where do I put Eddie? I cannot put him in seventh. Okay, so I'm going to put Danny in seventh, and Edo is going to be my seventh. I think he's better than Warhorse. I think Edo is better than Warhorse in my Rainover. I think Edo is better than Rainover. Okay. I think he's better than Warhorse. Yeah. I think he's better. And then Tabe, my GOAT, the GOAT of LPL, making every team look better, making every single squad look good. He done it with AL, he done it with BLG, he's done it with RNG. He's probably one of the best coaches in the LPL, and I think he deserves the ranking of the A tier ranking, and he's the second best coach in all the rankings. Consider first stand. And ladies and gentlemen, that is it. So let me just give you the breakdown of all the rankings. Top lane, Key number 1, Bin 2, Zhao Zhu 3, Clear Broken Blade Dokla, and I think Hero O2 or Pun in terms of substitutes, and Xyno is 8. For Jungle, Canyon, Junjia, Zone, Inspired, Raptor, Skuman, Hitstone, and Youngjae. For mid, Chovy, Knight, Honkyu, Caps, Vikla, Saint Dire, Envy. For bot, Ruler, Gala, Diable, Viper, Hansama, Eddie, Berserker, Bull. And for support, Duro, Viper, On, Kellen, Labrov, Owls by Rebert, and for the coaches, Ryu, Tabe, Donnie, Dunfaco, Roarhorse, Edo, Rainover, and Rays. So what I'm gonna do after this tournament is like, this is gonna be like a preseason thing. If I have like the time and space to do it after the tournament, I can have to like rank them based on the tournament performance. So this is gonna be preseason and then post tournament performance rankings and see where I rank them post of them. By the way, the power rankings just came out, so I'm gonna look at the power rankings. This is basically the end of the rankings video of the players and all the teams. Tomorrow or in a couple of hours from now, I will be doing my meta champions and all this kind of stuff that will evolve in this new patch. Of course, 60.5, which is the first stand patch. So that concludes the rankings. But the rankings of the players are not over, and the teams. Actually, the rankings of the players and the coaches and the teams are over. But the power rankings, it's a wishy-washy thing. I'll pause and let you have a look. So before I'm gonna leave and go to bed, by the way, it's officially midnight on the 11th of March on Wednesday. It's time for the power rankings. Gen G number 1, I have no surprise. BLG number 4, G2 number 7, JDG number 9, and I think this is where David Shynock's critique comes in. Lion Gaming, who just fresh off one LCS, are below Noshim, Red Force, and LNG. I am sorry, Riot. You're telling me the Lion just won an LCS title or is just below Noshim, Red Force, LNG, and MVK Vikings? What? I just don't get it. I just don't get it at all. Let me see the other teams, by the way. Okay, that's probably the only gripe. I mean, Loud, who just won just won CB LOL, just are between shifters and sentinels. Marvelous. You're just the same position as Sentinels. Even Furia, who just won the America's Cup, is just like the same position as Bro and LGD. Like, oh my goodness, like what are we doing? I think David and everybody else has a point. We need to have a committee and just rank the teams as they are. Like, I know committees and people are not perfect, like in college football and college basketball and all kind of stuff, but somebody needs to sit down and gather all these people, casters and community members, and just rank the teams as they are. Like, I have no problem with Gen G being 1 and T1 being 2. Okay, fine, have all the LCK teams in and all the LPL teams in. But to have, like, the LCS champion being this low, below all these other teams that haven't won it or haven't performed pretty good, especially C9, I mean, you're ranking them below the team that they beat. What the heck? But listen, all of this will be sorted out when we get to first stand, of course. And ladies and gentlemen, that is it for all the rankings and all kinds of stuff. In a couple of hours, I will be doing the champions meta and all kinds of stuff. And what do you expect from this patch and what do you expect from this tournament? It might be the same, it might be different, but who knows? Anyways, thank you all for watching this long, winding whole thing. Enjoy the rest of the day and enjoy the rest of the week. And I'll see you all next time.